Okay, we'll get started. Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vindyarambham karishyami siddhir me sada yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Welcome. So we're looking at Sadhanabodhini. We'll start with our prayer. Oh, sorry, we'll do the Maheshwara Sutra. 1 second. Om A-I Un Rilik E-Ong I Ouch Hayavarat Plan Nyamagananam Jabhanya Gadhadash Jabagadash Kapachatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani Om Tip Thas Ji Sip Thas Tha Mip Vas Mas Ta Atham Ja Tas Atham Dhvam It Vahi Mahing Om Su O Jas Ot Shas Ta Bhyam Bhis Nge Bhyam Bhyas Asi Bhyam Bhyas Ngas Os Ni Os Sup. So we'll start with our Sadhanabodhini, chant our prayer. Om Namaskritya Gurum Bhaktya Brahmatmanandarupinam Sadhanasyopadeshtaram Kurve Sādhanabodhini. So this is the shloka number 4 that we've been looking at. So we'll look at shloka number 4 and we'll start shloka number 5 today. Notice how we left Tattva for now, just because we're not getting enough time to even really analyze this text, let alone both. And so I thought we'll focus a little bit here. Yeah. So we'll chant the shloka. You can repeat after me. Ato na tena purnatvam bandhakari cha tad bhaved Ato mumukshubhistasmat nityamokshasya narthana. Okay. So we saw last time, ataha tena purnatvam na bhavati. Right? Ataha tena purnatvam bhavati. Ataha, therefore, let me put this in red. Ataha, therefore, right? Na bhavati is not. What is not? Purnatvam. Fullness, completeness is not made or is not brought about. Tena. Tena, by that. By that, and because the context, that is karma, right? So tena is karmana. Right. So it's karman shabda. So karmana would be third case. Yeah. And so therefore, fullness is not brought about by action. But in fact, tadcha bandhakari bhavet. Okay. Bhavet, we saw this is vidhilinga, right? This is vidhilinga. We were looking at bhavet the last time. This is bhu, to be, in vidhilinga, vidhiling, kartari prayoga. So we have bhavet, bhavetam, bhaveyuhu. You can say it with me. Bhavehe, bhavetam, bhaveta, bhaveyam, bhaveva, bhavema. So we have here bhavet. Okay. So this is bhu, 1p, vidhiling. I'm just going to put it for now. Vidhiling, pratama purusha, ekavachanam. Okay, so tad bhavet. So that is, or that will be, what is it? It's bandhakari. Bandhakari. So these are all just first case words. It is a binding. It is a binder, right? It binds the doer. Okay. So tad karma, right? Bandhakari bhavet. It is a bandhakari. It binds. Okay, so now this is where we left off. So now let's look a little more deeply in this last sentence. If anyone wants to volunteer to kick us off, you can let me know in the chat or you can raise your hand. Okay, so Hariprasad ji. Okay. Before, yeah, so we'll start. I'm going to unmute you. So we're going to find what are we going to find first?
First is the kriyate.
Yeah, the verb kriyate. Yeah, do you want to give the information for kriyate?
Kriyate.
So, dhatu?
Maybe a kru dhatu.
Yep. Dhatu.
It is kriyate will be kriyate atmanepadi ekavachana.
So which lakara?
Kriyate will be lat lakara.
Lat lakara.
Yeah.
Kartari or karmani prayoga?
Kartari.
Okay, so here it's actually karmani. We see that yakara and the atmanepada.
Kriyate. Where do you see that?
We see the yakara, so here.
Kriyate. Oh, okay.
So
Kriyate.
if I wrote it in Sanskrit, I think it would be a little bit.
Okay, kriyate.
Yeah. Right, kriyate.
Okay. Yeah,
So you see
then
the yakara.
agreed. Karmani prayoga.
Yeah, karmani.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then
Purusha.
it is a Prathama Purusha.
And then vachana.
Ekavachana.
Ekavachana. Perfect. Yeah. So we have kriyate. So something is done. Right, something is done. Okay, so so after we find the verb, what case do we look for?
We look for karta.
So think about that again. What case do we usually look for?
What case we look for will be Prathama Vibhakti.
Yeah, we look for Prathama Vibhakti. Yeah. And if we're in Karmani Prayoga,
right, okay, so
the first case will be
Karmani Prathama.
Karmani Prathama. Yeah, the first case in the sense of object. Okay, so I'm actually going to mute you for a moment.
Okay.
I wanted to explain one thing. In the sentence here, Ato nate na purnatvam bandhakari cha tadbhavet. Now we're looking at this. Ato mumukshubhis tasmat nityamokshasya narthana. Okay. Do you see kriyate? No, there's no kriyate. No kriyate. This really drove me crazy, okay, for a long time. Because the way the sentence looks is that it looks like a karmani sentence, but there's no karmani verb. And so there was a lot of back and forth with me and Medaji, Minchikaji. And she said, it's okay, you can supply a karmani verb. That would be implied. So you can add kriyate to make the sentence complete. Okay, you'll see why in a moment we need this karmani verb, but we can add it there. So it is supplied, we are supplying. It is implied in the sentence. And yeah, we'll see why. But it's not there, in case you were wondering. Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for the first case. We're looking for any first case. Because we always look for the first case, even if it's kartari or karmani. Okay? So give me a thumbs up when when I underline the first case word, okay? Okay, so some people said this word. Okay, some people said this word here. Okay, someone said that word. Okay, na kriyate. All right. So first, does someone want to give cases to all the words? And then we'll come back around. Yeah, Urmilaji, you want to start from left to right?
Ataha is 0.
Avyaya.
Avyaya. Mumukshubhihi is 3-3. Tasmat is 1-5. 5-1. Nitya mokshasya is 6-1. Arthana I got a little trouble with Arthana. Maybe 2-1.
Yeah, just
2-1 maybe.
2-1. Okay. So like
Na
what
is
word?
avyaya.
Na is avyaya and kriyate we know.
Kriya.
So arthana would be like which word? What type of word? If you're not sure, that's okay.
Arthana. Kriyate. Expectation. It's an adverb.
No, not quite. I'm gonna ask someone else if they know what arthana is. But this is great. You did great, right? You got all of the words except for one. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna mute you. Arthana, anybody know? You can raise your hand. Okay, Kuriji, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Is it a Ganga like Arthana?
It's Gangavat. Yeah, exactly. So what case?
It's a 2-1. No, 1-1. Sorry,
1-1, yeah.
1-1.
Like Ganga, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we were looking for a first case, right? After the verb, our first case here is Arthana, yeah. Exactly. So this is Arthana, so Akaranta Strilinga, just like Ganga, as it was said. Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Now, what type of Prathama? Yeah,
Karmani Prathama.
Karmani Prathama. Yeah, exactly. Karmani Prathama, right? Because we're in Karmani Prayoga. So this is Karmani Prathama, right? First case in the sense of object. Okay, so far the translation is should, it's not done, right? Because we have na, right? Not done. What is not done? Arthana. Arthana's meaning is here. Expectation. Expectation should not be made or should not be done. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go. We can just go right to left. Premaji Kuriji, do you want to just tell me this word here? So Nityamokshasya. So what would the Pratipadika be?
Nitya Moksha.
Nityamoksha, right? Like just like Akaranta.
Ramasya. Like Ramasya.
Yeah, like Ramasya. So Akaranta Pullinga,
Ekavati.
Ramavat. What case?
6-1.
Yeah, Shashti Vibhakti Ekavachanam.
Ekavachanam.
And then what kind of Shashti?
Sambandhe.
Sambandhe Shashti to
Arthana.
Arthana. Yeah. So the expectation of eternal moksha or permanent freedom should not be made. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I hope when I call on people, your blood pressure doesn't go up, right? This is good. So expectation should not be done. Okay, so Hariprasad, you have a question there, yeah?
Yes, sir. Mahodaya, how come?
Yeah, I have to unmute you one more time.
Yeah. How come mumukshubihi? What is the pratipadikam on that?
Yeah, so you tell me, what is the pratipadika for
It
mumukshu?
should be, if it is like Ganga bihi, then it is Ganga, which is is mumukshu bihi, is it a feminine word?
So no, then it would be mumuksha, right? And then but here we have mukshu bihi. So what's the last letter there? That
It is like guru, mumukshu.
like guru shabda.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
mumukshu.
guru bihi.
So the word there is a word mumuksha, which just means freedom, but the one who desires, sorry, mumuksha just means desire for freedom. But mumukshu means the person who desires freedom.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like guru. So this is, what's the pratipadika?
Guru.
For mumukshu.
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 Yeah.
So the ending letter is?
Is you.
Ukaranta.
It is a ukaranta pullinga bahuvachana.
Tritiya vibhakti.
The Tritiya vibhakti
Oh.
pullinga bahuvachana.
And then vibhakti artha? Yeah, so this is tricky one. Think about what the verb is.
The verb is created, so karane here.
So it's a karmani verb. And then the third case can be, if it's karma.
I don't know, there is no saha there, so it is not saha tritiya. I don't know.
Does anybody want to help there? You can either type in the chat. I can't see all of everyone at the same time. So you can either raise your hand, type. If it's karmani verb, the third case can be not heto tritiya. It could be heto tritiya. It could be all of these things, but when we have karmani verb, first case is karmani prathama. Yeah. So you can have, if it's karmani verb, then the third case can be kartari tritiya. Okay, so that's a really good thing to remember. If it's karmani verb, then the third case can be in the sense of karta, in the doer, kartari. So should not be made. Expectation should not be made. Of what? Of eternal freedom by mumukshus. So it should not be made by mumukshus. They are the karta of not doing or not making. Yeah, so that's a karta. So that's always something to remember. If you see a karmani verb, two things should come to your mind. Okay, my first case will be karmani, first case in the sense of karma, and I might have a karta in the third case. If it's not there, you can always supply a karta in the third case, right? Always too, you can do that. Okay. Okay, so we said expectation should not be made by mumukshus, tasmat. So I'll just finish this here, tasmat. So this is, so we said, so we start with the pratipadika, right? So I'm gonna model this, pratipadika, so tad shabda. Then we say the last letter, so we say dakaranta, I'll say napumsakalinga. It can be any gender. I'm just saying because it's referring to karma, which is napumsakalinga. It can be pullinga also, but so you say the pratipadika, last letter, gender, then the case, panchami vibhakti, then vachanam, ekavachanam, then vibhakti artha. Okay. So vibhakti artha. So from that, we can take apadane panchami. Okay, so sampradane chaturthi, recipient, apadane panchami. A lot of people get these confused in the beginning. So apadana, it's the locus from which something moves usually, but it's from that. So it should not be expected from that. Okay, so apadane panchami. Okay, so therefore, the expectation should not be made. Expectation of eternal freedom should not be made. Expectation of eternal freedom should not be made from karma by mumukshus. Okay, that's a literal translation. So now look how Swamiji translates a little bit cleaner. Seekers of moksha cannot therefore expect eternal moksha from that. Okay, so notice how it's not exact, but it's very close and it flows a lot better. Okay, how are we feeling? Thumbs up, thumbs to the side, thumbs down. So if you're in the middle, so feeling good. Okay, feeling in the middle. Feeling good, a little bit of both. Okay. Anybody have any questions here before we move on to the next sentence? Anything that would be helpful to review, you can also let me know in the chat. Okay. If there's anything you feel like, oh, I'm totally forgetting this. Yeah, Ninimanji, let me take that question before I move on.
That sentence, seekers of moksha, cannot therefore expect eternal moksha from that action. Can you explain that sentence a little bit? It's confusing to me because person who is seeking moksha cannot expect moksha from that action. So that my understanding is he will only get moksha through knowledge and not with action.
Yeah, exactly. So right, it's saying purnatvam atena tu ato natena purnatvam ataha purnatvam na, right? Tena. So completeness cannot be brought about by karma. Atena ato natena purnatvam, right? So we got that. Right? Completeness cannot be brought about tena, by action, right? And then bandakari cha tadbhaved. Furthermore, it will bind the person. So karma, if not done with the right attitude, can bind the person. Ato mumukshubi tasmat nitya mokshasya nardana. Therefore, the seeker of moksha should not expect freedom from karma, right? Because it's what? It won't give fullness and it can bind you. So don't expect freedom from doing actions or from the result of action. Yeah? Is that more clear now? Okay. Yeah, tasmat, from that. So I said it is napumsakalinga because it's referring to karma. Because it's referring to the word karma, which is napumsakalinga. Okay. Let's look at the next one. We'll just start this sentence and we'll continue next time. You can repeat after me. Tat karmaiva manushyena. Tat karmaiva manushyena. yoga buddhya swanushtitam, yoga buddhya swanushtitam, mokshasya bhavati dwaram, mokshasya bhavati dwaram, natu bandhana karakam, natu bandhana karakam. So let's just look at the sandhi, right? So tat karma, this is two separate words. There's no sandhi, but sometimes we'll just put it together. Tat, and then karma eva, karma eva, karma eva. That's vriddhi sandhi. Manushyena yoga buddhya. Yoga buddhya is actually one word. It's a samasa. Svanushthitam, one word. Mokshasya bhavati dwaram natu bandhana karakam, one word. Yeah. So not much there. So now I just changed the order a little bit just so that it's more in a little bit easier order. So first, let's just read the translation. But that very action, if performed well with the attitude of karma yoga, becomes the means for moksha and not the cause for bondage. Okay, so karma by itself can lead to bondage. Freedom should not be expected. But karma with the attitude of karma yoga becomes the means for moksha and not the cause of bondage. Okay, so you see how this is very systematic sentences. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's just spend a little bit of time, our next few minutes, on this word swanushthitam. Okay. Now, this is what we call a kridanta, right? We remember what a kridanta is? Yeah. So kridanta, right, is when we have a dhatu, we have a pratyaya, a krit pratyaya, and it makes a new pratipadika. Okay. So if a dhatu plus a krit pratyaya, then you actually make a pratipadika. With that pratipadika, you can add a sup pratyaya and make it a subanta. So here we have a verb, I mean, not a verb, a dhatu hidden here. So what this swanushthitam actually is we have swa, it's actually swa plus anu, and then we have sta dhatu. Remember, like sta makes tishtati, right? Remember that there's a whole funny transformation that happens, but sta, we've seen that a few times, right? Becomes tishtati. So that's where you see this. It's anushtitam. It's like that shta. Because there's some sandhi that takes place there. And then the pratyaya we get is kta, K-T-A, kta. Sorry, I didn't write that very clearly, but kta. This is how they write it in the book, K-T-A. You can write it like that, or you can write it like this. Okay, so now kta, this gives the sense of, it becomes like karmani. Okay, it gives a karmani sense. Like how we would have a verb. Okay, now I know it's a noun now, but it's verb-like. Kridanta makes it verb-like. So swanushtitam, swa anusta means performed well. It means to perform well. Okay? To perform well. And if I add this ta, it gives karmani sense. So it means performed well. Okay, performed well. Meaning that we can have a first case, which is going to be karmani prathama connected to swanushtita. And we can have a kartari tritiya connected to this swanushtita. Okay. So we'll see this more in our next class, but you see this manushyena swanushtidam, right? Kartari tritiya. So well performed by people, manushyas, people. By a person, rather. Sorry, it's singular. So by a person. Swanushtidam manushyena, by a person. What is swanushtidam? Karmani prathama, karma, right? So karma is well performed by manushya. Of course, not just karma by itself, but karma yoga buddhya, with yoga buddhi, with karma yoga attitude. That is speed round. We'll see this more closely, a little bit more deeply in the next class, okay? So we will not actually have Sanskrit our next week. We will not have Sanskrit next week. Next week, we will be moving our class till Wednesday. So we will have Vedanta class Wednesday evening, and we will not have Sanskrit class at all next week. Okay. So we'll finish with our, we'll say Shanti. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Harihi Om.